So I'll just share the book now. So I believe we finished part of the book, matlab part of one of the chapters. So I'll just go to the right page. Hmm. So we had been here yesterday. Okay. Okay. Shall we start?
Yes, Vidya.
Okay. I will just read one of the paragraphs. Today is a very good discussion. I think it's going to be very interesting today because we are talking about what is the Jeevan. And so let's just dive into it. I have understood Jeevan, and from here begins the effort to impart this understanding to you. This process is called Jeevan Vidya. I want to first clarify that Jeevan is eternally the same. Everyone wants to know and believe the reality of Jeevan and to evidence this understanding. This is the basic objective. Jeevan is neither physical nor non physical. It is constitutionally complete atom and a sentient entity. What is constitutional completeness? This atom's constitution doesn't undergo the expulsion or insertion of particles. Okay, we'll just pause here and let's understand what basically the first two sentences are just saying that we want to understand Jivan, and this process of understanding Jivan is called Jivan Vidya, right? And everyone or every human being, or rather, they are Jivan also in some animals, and this is called the complete constitution. There is no what's the word he has used? Insertion or expulsion of particles in that, and that is what is called the Jivan. And it wants to evidence this understanding, which is the whole of existence. It wants to understand why the existence is such, and it wants to understand its coexistence also. So this is the basic objective of the Jivan. It is curious in essence. Jivan is neither physical nor non-physical. It is constitutionally complete atom. So I just want to dwell in this. Like I have even created some sort of diagram for you to show you. Like let me just go to that place. See if I can. Yeah. So we can see here that carbon is one of the atoms that has four valence electrons in its outer shell, and that is why it is readily combining with other elements. So I'll just read this definition here. Carbon bonds readily with other elements because it has four valence electrons in its outer shell, allowing it to form four covalent bonds with various atoms by sharing electrons, which is very stable arrangement for carbon to achieve to full os- octet. This unique property enables carbon to create diverse and complex molecules with a wide range of elements like hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So I wanted to bring this up because it is saying here that the carbon is able to combine with other elements, and that's how it is, let me just go to. It is able to combine with other elements, and that's how it's able to create the complex structures or molecules with combining with hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen and all these things. And it is because there are particles which can share the electrons in its orbits. They're just sharing, each atoms are sharing each orbits, and that's how the molecules are formed, and that's how carbon can combine with other elements. So I just wanted to bring this up because it is very crucial that when we talk about Jeevan, it doesn't have this ability to allow other particles to come in, nor does it have excess particles to give out. So that was the point I wanted to mention here. And indeed, let me just show you another one other also. Uh, if I can get to it. Like we are seeing this movement of electrons in alternating current. So since I have this technical background, I wanted to mention this, that every atom in a conductor, it has electrons. Now these electrons are able to enter into other atoms orbits and travel as such. So when they are traveling in a particular direction, it is called direct current. And when it is oscillating between the atoms, so the atom's place is in just one place. Wire is made the way it is. But when the electrons are traveling within each other's orbits, and that's how alternating current takes place. And so we get the alternating current in our houses. One of the reasons that alternating current is so powerful is that there is no physical movement of particles. It is just a oscillation of electrons, as you can see in the diagram, and that's how we are getting the movement of current or the flow of current, and that we measure it and that we get the bill for it. But the point of make I'm trying to make is that there is some empty orbital shells which the electrons can pop in and then pop out, and that's how other atoms are जिसको कहते हैं ना भूखे भी है और they're full, they're extra, they're saturated, extra saturated, like nuclear or radioactive atoms. They are emitting some particles. So they are also not stable. And so are these particles also, which are made of elements, which are made of matter. They are, some of them are conductors, some of them are not conductors. So I'm just showing you an example how the electrons uh, have this ability to move in each, in other atoms' shells also. I know. So this is the point I was trying to make. And indeed, this is very crucial to understand. So that's why I thought bringing this diagram is necessary also. So yeah, we can read further. We'll get some clarification also like that. Hmm. So, however, insertion and expulsion are found in the atoms in physiochemical forms, which are called results, whereby number of constituent particles in such atoms gets altered. So we are seeing that how the sharing of the orbit then also makes that atom into another chemical element altogether. Oh, sorry, chemical molecule. Element stays the same. Like carbon will stay carbon, but it will combine with another element called oxygen that will create carbon dioxide. So that That is how the sharing or vyavastha is happening also. It is trying to find a balance. Every atom is trying to find a balance, which we are further going to see ahead, where it says this is the only elemental transformation possible in the world. Whenever humans are able to bring about any elemental transformation in nature, it will be limited to altering the number of particles in the evolving constitution of atoms. So, maximum what we can do is the number of particles that are constituted for that orbit, that is the maximum we can fill it up with. We cannot create something beyond its capacity, in other words. And that's how the elements are limited in numbers, as to speak. And yeah, so this is very interesting how the atom is described here, how particles or bhukhe parmanu hai, how ajirna parmanu hai, how it is described here, and we are getting to see a glimpse of it. If anyone has a question or comment, we can take.
Yes, Bhaiya, I
Huh.
was thinking about those elements
Hmm.
which are inert gases or inert elements.
Hmm.
So they also have the last orbit constitutionally complete.
Hmm.
But here in the complete atom, we are discussing that Jeevan atom. It
Hmm.
is also having the last orbit as complete.
Right.
So we can discuss the difference between an inert gas element and the
Uh,
constitutionally atom. So that
I,
is
I
coming in my mind.
I
Yes.
think, Bhaiya, if you are having it in your mind clearly, then you can also go ahead and explain.
No, what I can see is that I have just Googled it and I have found that
Uh,
most of the inert gases,
hmm.
although have the last orbit at constitutionally complete, but they
Hmm.
still react and make certain compound, which does
Hmm.
not happen here uh, in the
Hmm.
complete atom we are discussing, that is
Right.
G1 atom. So
Hmm.
that is one difference. But
Hmm.
I can see that still it is written that helium and neon are still completely unreactive. So
Hmm.
there must be some difference between this atom and helium and neon.
Hmm.
So if you have some idea or someone has the idea, they can put the
Uh,
light.
I think Shalini has not joined. Otherwise, actually, I'm looking for the answer for that also. Then, in that case, because I thought that they are all empty. Some orbits must be empty in all of them. That's how what I thought actually.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can get hold of Shalini.
Hmm. No, no issue.
Uh,
Yeah, we can discuss it later on.
okay.
But yes, this idea all of a sudden came into my mind, and I
Hmm.
have also searched it on the net.
Hmm.
And if I have found that most of the inert gas elements do make compounds. That is,
Uh,
they, in spite of being inert, they still react.
uh,
But there is an
Um,
exception of yes,
I
yes,
just know
Shivangi.
this one thing that
hmm.
I think I was studying with mummy.
Hmm.
So what she was explaining was that जो चैतन्य परमाणु होता है उसमें जो number of वो हैं परमाणु अंश है ना या subatomic
Hmm,
particles they
Hmm.
are
hmm,
62 in number. So I think that
hmm,
is the fixed amount which makes it a
Hmm.
chaitanya parmanu, and other than that it will not be. It can be an inert gas, but that is a different thing.
Hmm.
So we can then expand upon that. But I just know this much of least.
Right, right.
no,
I
So
no,
think this
there's a
you
good
you
point.
you
last
are
part
right.
is
You are right. We can reach to some conclusion that helium and neon
Hmm.
doesn't have the complete all the orbits filled. There
Hmm.
only one or two orbits are filled. But in the
Hmm.
constitutionally complete atom, that is Jeevan Parmanu,
Hmm.
they are constitutionally complete. That are the orbits are full. So that is a major difference. And
Hmm.
second difference I can see is that nucleus, that is
Hmm.
Madhyansh.
Right.
In the Jeevan Parmanu, there is only one element or one ansh, you can say,
Uh,
in
one
the
particle.
yes, one particle, you can say, one particle in
Hmm.
the nucleus. Whereas
Hmm.
helium and neon are having same number of particles in the
Hmm.
nucleus
As
equal
the
to the
external.
number, yes, the electrons. So
Right.
that is another difference.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that is some clarity also there. Right.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. I believe, if I'm not getting it wrong, uh, since the Jeevan has the nucleus also with just one particle, it has no weight as such. Because otherwise, what happened was that before we used to weigh the
Hmm.
atoms based on the center nucleus. So I heard it somewhere. I don't know where. Might be with the talk or some
Hmm.
discourses I was listening to. Because the center is just one particle and
Hmm.
not the atomic weight of the whole 62 constituent particles.
Hmm.
That's why there is no version of the G1. I don't
We
know. I
can
will have
say
to clarify.
no, no. We can say either no weight or almost no weight.
Hmm.
Almost no weight.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's go read ahead and we'll see if some people can join. Shalini also, I'll see if she can join. Such atoms are of two kinds, hungry atoms and overfull atoms. Okay, so we have come back to that, Ajirna Parmanu and Bhukhe Parmanu. The atoms that remain in hunger or need of some particles to become satiated, even as each result is a state of being that exhibits wholeness, have been called hungry atoms. So there are atoms that are actually like what it's trying to say here is the atoms that remain in hunger of some particles to become satiated, even as each result of even as each result is a state of being that exhibits wholeness, have been called hungry atoms. This is a little bit confusing, but I think the atoms where some particles want to exit have been called overfull atoms. In this way, the activity of both kinds of atoms is only towards satiety. Satiety. Okay, so I maybe we can dwell on this a little bit, then we can read
भैया
ahead.
I can tell what the Hindi of this sentence is.
Hmm.
जिन परमाणु में तृप्त होने के लिए कुछ
Hmm.
अंशों की भूख बनी रहती है,
हाँ.
साथ में हर परिणाम अपने में यथास्थिति
Hmm.
संपूर्णता स्पष्ट होता है, उन्हें
Hmm.
भूखा परमाणु कहा गया है.
Hmm.
We can say that those atoms are called hungry atoms, which has the tendency to gain some other particles to
हाँ.
become satiated,
हाँ.
so
Right.
that they have that kind of tendency.
Hmm. Hmm.
so
मतलब they
so
allow
the,
it.
yes,
Hmm.
they allow it
Hmm.
to become satiated, तृप्त
Hmm.
होने के लिए जिसे
तृप्त होने
बोलेंगे
के
हम.
लिए, yes. हाँ.
या
But
कंप्लीट होने के लिए बोलते हैं हम.
हाँ. So, but
हम्म.
at the same time, we also understand this, and actually, I also want to add here that simple things like charging a battery is trying to exploit this in a way. Because what we do when we charge the batteries, there are some particles that are connected with the some particular atom. Then we pass a current through it, so we actually remove their like satiation, if that is the right word, they remove the satiation and move it towards one end of the uh, anode, if I'm not mistaken. And then when the battery is discharged, those electrons then move back to the place where they were removed from, and that's how that flow of electrons, that's how we harness that power. And that flow of electrons then powers the gadgets, powers the mobile phones, the screen, and all these things. So we are actually using the atomic this hungriness of atoms and over saturation of atoms. We are actually just using the hungriness of the atoms. We are not able to use the overflowing of the atoms. The overflowing of atoms would come in the nuclear energy, I think. And we are just transferring the electrons from one place to another place and making that place hungry. So when we remove it from the charger, when we remove the mobile from the charger, the electrons want to rush back to the place where the hungriness is of the atoms. And so once that rushing is happening, we put some sort of circuit in between, so that circuits are powered by it. At the same time, when the electrons are moving, they're powering the circuit, and they're uh, making that atom again satiated. And between that transfer of electrons that happens, we are getting the light, we are getting the sound, we are getting all these kind of things. So yeah, I hope I'm making some sort of clarity for the young audience. Yes. So yeah, I will just continue from here. In this way, the activity of both kinds of atoms is only towards satiety. The satiated atom is constitutionally complete atom. So now I think we are going to talk about Jeevan. The satiated atom is a constitutionally complete atom. This itself is the sentient unit or Jeevan. It has been called the sentient unit because it harbors the capacity to manifest conscience and sensitivity within the human tradition. Okay, so apart from being as minute as an atom, the Jivan is able to manifest conscience and sensitivity within the human tradition. But yeah, we can discuss this. Maybe you can also read the Hindi. What does it say in the Hindi?
Sentient, this is called sentient
Ah,
because it has the conscience and the sensitivity, which
hmm,
are the property of sentient particle. चैतन्य की
ah,
जो आप कह सकते हैं लक्षण जो है ना, वो
hmm, hmm,
उसका संज्ञानशीलता और संवेदनशीलता है ना?
ah,
तो ये
ah,
दोनों चीजें चैतन्य में ही हो सकती हैं. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड
hmm,
ए सेंटिएंट एटम.
hmm. Right. So, can we discuss what is the meaning exactly of Sangyan Shilta? Because I think, or conscience and sensitivity, maybe we can just a little bit, we can discuss on it. Because I just want some clarity on it. Uh, Conscience means aware. Is it, can we put it that way? It is aware of its surrounding, conscience.
Yes, you can say aware that with complete knowledge, you can say,
Ah,
or with gyan. है ना?
mm,
You can say sangyanshilta means you who have the knowledge of gyan. है ना?
okay.
And the gyan here, the gyan is the gyan of existence is coexistence.
Mm,
So this,
okay.
if you have this knowledge, that is the meaning of conscience. That
Ah,
is called sangyanshilta.
ah,
And sensitivity is samvedanshilta. You are sensitive.
mm,
Like suppose we see a poor person and we give something to that person, that
ah,
is called a kind of sensitivity.
mm,
But if we find a way that the poor person do not beg or stop begging,
ah,
then it is a kind of conscience or sangyanshilta, you can say.
ah, okay.
Mm.
So basically, the sensitivity is a guidance towards the uh, conscience, to be conscious. We can say that.
Not the guidance is the first step, you can say.
Ah, okay, great. Right.
Someone is non-sensitive, then
Hmm.
sensitive, and the
Hmm.
next step will be conscience. That is
Ah,
the Sangyanshilta. So
okay.
this is the way.
Hmm. Okay, great.
Hmm.
Yes. So, I would,
Anyone can also add
yeah, yeah,
Shivangi and Shriyanshi, if
yeah, yeah.
Neelam, Didi, whatever you feel, you all can add to it, whatever we are speaking.
Hmm.
Or if you are not speaking, we assume that we are on the right track.
No, I would like them actually to rather interfere even because see what
Yes,
happens is
yes.
when we are brainstorming like this, clarity happens, and definitely I just don't want to be the only one who wants the clarity. Let's hope that everybody also pops in. Like uh,
Hmm.
just now, Didi mentioned how it is working because of the number of particles was 62. I think she said, right?
Hmm.
So now
Hmm.
we know because of that. So yeah.
Hmm. No, I got this in our group. We got the structure of this atom
Mm.
also. No,
Mm.
the structure is basically it consists of one element in the center, then
Mm.
two,
Mm-hmm.
then 8, 18, and 32.
Right.
So in this way, it is 58, 60, yeah, 61 exact.
Ah,
The total
right,
61.
right. 61, sorry, yeah. Hmm. Right. Okay. Can anyone from the audience read? I mean, I'm just pointing from where to start.
Yes, but yeah, I can read, no problem.
Huh. Okay. Okay, bhai.
Shreyanshi has written that she will not be able to speak. Maybe
Acha.
she is busy or
Okay.
traveling, something
Okay,
like
okay.
that. So let me read.
Hmm. Hmm.
Without Jeevan, even if humans were to succeed in artificially constructing the body, they would be unable to evidence sensitivity, let alone conscience. So this sentence is very beautiful.
Hmm.
Na?
Yeah,
If, for
artificial
example,
intelligence. Ah.
yes, and we are constructing robots and everything,
Yeah.
but here they are saying that
Hmm.
it will not be possible to evidence sensitivity and
Hmm.
forget about conscience.
Hmm.
ना? क्योंकि
I,
जब
I,
संवेदन हाँ यस
yes,
भैया
Bhaiya, please, yes, take.
जब संवेदनशीलता ही नहीं होगी तो संज्ञानशीलता तो भूल ही जाइए
Hmm, 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 hmm. Yeah.
हम्म,
I just wanted to add that so much of our body is actually constructed with so much of minimal energy. Not to mention, it is so efficient. Like, you know, talking technically, we have computers that are being cooled by liquid these days.
हम्म,
Some sort of gel is used to cool the processors down. And on our head, the computer which is here, it is just cooled by some hair particles, some hair is there and it is cooled, the processor is cooled down like that. And the processors of today, even they are not able to match to even the millionth part of a brain, because a brain
हम्म,
is such a complex instrument that
हम्म,
like we talk about artificial intelligence, that is because the artificial intelligence is spread across many countries. We are not
हम्म,
understanding that even if it is smart because it is spread all over the country, or it is the servers are running all over the place and they're consuming so much of energy also. But here we are, simple fruits and simple vegetables grown within 2 3 months can suffice to a human body, and this same sort of energy consumed over hundreds of years. It's like we can live for 100 years, you know, without any upgrades also. So how beautiful the machinery of the man, is made so power efficient. It sleeps on time, it gets awakened, and it is powerful again, and it can even multiply. So much is there, but we are not able to grasp the beauty of it, and we are going to still making sentient beings without any soul
हम्म,
or without any jivan, and
हम्म,
putting our efforts to it, rather even our finance and manpower and all these kind of things, when it is just about understanding what is coexistence, and we would be all existing with peace and harmony. Yes, Bhaiya.
हम्म, हम्म. Therefore, humans can live in harmony and contribute to the universal orderliness of existence only in the course of evidencing their sensitivity and conscience.
Mm,
That is all the work there is. All living beings of animal order evidence sensitivity.
mm,
Humans, however, don't become satisfied or happy without evidencing conscience, regardless of how hard they may try.
mm,
So here in these lines, it is
mm,
very clear
mm,
that humans can live in harmony and contribute to the universal orderliness
mm.
only in course of evidencing their sensitivity and conscience.
Ah.
Na? So
And this
both
this is really important. This is all
that
the work
is
there
all the
is.
work there is.
वही
That is the
काम
work
करना
one has to do.
है.
Use the conscience and control, or rather have some control on your senses. Na?
Mm,
There should be control on senses and
ah,
use of the conscience. That they are
mm,
these are the very
mm,
important things.
mm.
All
Uh,
living beings.
सॉरी
Yes,
भैया,
yes,
इट
yes.
इज
हाँ,
नॉट कंट्रोलिंग, आई थिंक वो स्वयं स्फूर्त से नियंत्रित हो ही जाता है।
हाँ, ये भी है.
नहीं नहीं
सही
नहीं
बात.
दीदी, किसकी मैं सेंसिटिविटी की बात कर रहा हूँ, सेंसिस की बात कर रहा हूँ
हाँ,
वो।
तो सेंसेस बिकॉज ऑफ द कॉन्शियस, क्योंकि
हम्म
सिंस यू गेट द नॉलेज
Hmm.
कॉन्शियस का अगर आप लिटरल मीनिंग देखेंगे, इट इज द एबिलिटी टू अंडरस्टैंड द राइट एंड द रॉन्ग। मतलब जो हम
Hmm.
जांच के जो सब करते हैं, उस
Hmm.
तरह से ज्ञान संज्ञानशीलता होता है। तो इन
Hmm.
दैट संज्ञानशीलता जब होती है तो अपने आप जो सेंसेस हैं वो नियंत्रित हो
Ah,
जाते हैं, ऐसे कह
agree,
रही
agree, agree.
Hmm.
Yes, now I agree. So the senses will be controlled under uh, conscience.
Hmm.
संज्ञानशीलता के अंडर ही जो
Hmm.
सेंसेस हैं वो कंट्रोल होंगी.
Hmm.
I think now we are on the same line.
Hmm.
Ah,
I
I
would like
was
to add नियंत्रित नियंत्रित हो जाएंगी.
हाँ, वो फोकस मेरा मेरा पहले सेंसिस के ऊपर था, सेंसिटिविटी
हाँ.
के ऊपर था कि
हाँ.
उनका कंट्रोल होना जरूरी है, और
Hmm.
द कंसाइंस विल प्ले एन इम्पोर्टेंट रोल इन कंट्रोलिंग देम.
Hmm.
So that is what I think Neelam Didi is also saying.
I think it is twofold. Because we are sensitive, or we can gain more conscience knowledge, and then we become conscience more, so we become sensitive also more. I was reminded of this event when I was listening to this discourse by Sombaya, and he said that once you know the purpose of wearing clothes, you will start to look for the better clothes for your body. So, like for example, when we wear clothes, we might wear it for fashion or reasons for fashion or something like that. But once you really realize that the purpose of clothes is to control your core temperature of the human body, and so then now you will look for cotton which is of better quality, cotton which is more durable, cotton which is made in a humane way, without any exploitation, exploiting the without even exploiting the water reserves to make the cotton, something like that. So we keep on getting more sensitive and more sensitive as we become more conscious and more conscious. So it is two way. It is like one is helping the other to leapfrog to the other part to be more sensitive again, and then we become more conscious, and then we become more sensitive. So I think it is like that. Can we say that?
Yes, yes. Neelam Didi wanted to say something, I think.
Hmm. हाँ दीदी.
नो सॉरी भैया,
हाँ.
आई डोंट रिकलेक्ट, आई वाज
Okay,
हाँ.
या
okay, okay,
हाँ, ठीक
okay,
है. Okay, we
okay.
can we can हाँ we can just
Yes,
discuss
yes.
again. All living beings
Ye-
of animal order evidence sensitivity. मतलब हर एक animal sensitive होता है. That's
Hmm.
what it's saying. But then for humans, however, doesn't don't become satisfied or happy without evidencing conscience,
Conscience. Hmm.
conscience, regardless of how hard they may try. So
Hmm.
happiness is not being seen.
Hmm.
Then we don't become satisfied or happy without evidencing conscience.
Hmm.
So.
Only senses are not enough. They can travel. So
Hmm.
conscience is a must
Hmm.
to have a kind of control on those senses.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Humans inherently seek happiness.
Hmm.
So this is the inherent nature of human being, that they
Ah,
seek happiness.
right.
In our pursuit of happiness, we sometimes believe that we will find it through comfort and accumulation, and
Hmm.
at the other times through prayer and penance, or
Ah.
devotion and detachment.
Ah.
So
Maybe we can
earlier,
pause here. Yeah. Yes, please.
yes, yes. So far there was a thought that
Hmm.
happiness can be achieved through comfort, accumulation, through
Hmm.
prayer, through penance, and through
Hmm.
devotion and detachment. And
Hmm.
that is still happening in our
Hmm.
society.
Yes,
All
very
these
much so.
things, yes, yes. I may discuss that I was sitting with a doctor
Ah.
having a huge property, a very big clinic,
Hmm.
and he is still not satisfied, and he's saying that
Hmm.
I'm doing this because my happiness will come through my comforts. The
Ah.
more comfortable vehicle I will be having, I will
Ah.
be more happy. So that
Ah.
was his definition of happiness.
Right.
So yes,
Imagine.
most of most of the people are doing like that, and
Ah.
many people are on devotion and detachment. So
Hmm.
detachment we can see a lot in Kumbh Mela these days. Na?
Hmm.
Naga sadhu and Agori
Ah.
sadhu, and people are IIT sadhu.
Ah.
So many things we are see that those who are detached, they
Ah.
feel they can get happiness.
Hmm.
So these
Yeah.
are some of the things the human being thinks that they can achieve through this.
Hmm. Hmm. I
Yes,
I
you
would.
can also put some. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, Nilam.
Yes, Ni.
Yeah, I would just like to say what it, I think this line tries to say is uh, that in Bhaktivad, that is through prayers, penance, devotion, also you can see that human have that inherence of seeking happiness,
Mm,
and they also in that pursuit they also found that in bhautikvad, that is comfort and accumulation, so they went there till there. I think it is just merely to justify the line that in whatever way human have that inherent nature to seek happiness, that's it.
mm,
I
mm,
think we should just take it at the face value.
mm.
So uh, means what I'm trying to say is whatever humans till now have gone through,
Mm,
it is they had that inherent pursuit to seek happiness, that's it.
mm,
So they came all this way, but later on we found out that through this also there is no permanent happiness,
mm.
and thus this darshan emerge. There was a need of this darshan to emerge,
Mm,
I feel.
I have understood like it like that, that
mm,
humans inherently seek happiness, means this is their inherent nature to see happiness.
mm,
But in pursuit of that, in pursuit of that, he has taken the ways of comfort and accumulation, and
mm,
then prayer and penance, and then devotion and detachment.
mm, mm,
So it's not the inherent ways. Ways are
mm.
wrong.
Right.
Inherent is happiness.
Happiness.
Happiness
Right.
is inherent. So
Mm,
that is, I take it
right.
from these two sentences. But yeah,
Mm.
you or someone else can also
Uh,
say.
I just want to add one more thing. Since we have the senses, the five senses, I mean, and when we are looking at the senses, at least for the sense of taste, it is there. With other senses, we can actually argue. Some people might not find a particular perfume pleasant. Some people might find it particularly pleasant. Some people might not find particular colors pleasant. Some people will find it. But when we come to taste, there is some sort of satisfaction we get when we are eating. So it's like a satiation that we are feeling. And so this is now seen as a way of getting happiness, or it obviously it is a momentary happiness. Like there is a law that first gulab jamun or first sweet we take will be tasting x amount of happiness, then the second gets lesser, then the third gets lesser. In fact, after the 10th one you will actually have a negative, matlab,
Hmm.
the same happiness will be in the negative form. Now you will feel like
Hmm.
not having it, aversion will be happening now.
Hmm.
And at the maybe 20th you will actually now be literally frustrated because of that. So we are seeing how comfort, or like the shanik sukh, like momentary
Hmm.
pleasure, we seeked
Hmm.
for it, and we found it in food, and then we started
Hmm.
seeing it in other things, and then we just used the senses. That's what I'm trying to say. We just use the senses, and through the senses we just try to expound on the comfort. And
Hmm.
we said, okay, if we have money, then we will have more food, and then we'll have more things to wear, to
Hmm.
touch, to
Hmm.
feel, to see, to hear. And that's how it just multiplied. I think more of
Hmm.
it is played by the market. In fact,
Hmm.
they have this thing about first create the the need. There is a saying that invention like is like necessity is the mother of invention. But
Hmm.
in the marketplace, it is opposite. The invention is the mother of all necessity. That's how they invent some product which we
Yes,
think,
yes.
or which they predict, or which they tell us, market it like
Hmm.
that, that this is
Hmm.
necessary for you, so to get happiness, or you will get fulfilled like this, or whatever it is. And this is how this sentence is actually expounded to the exploitation now of the earth's resources. So yes, just
Hmm.
wanted to
So
mention that.
yes, very rightly you have said those the happiness achieved through senses is momentary or temporary. Huh?
Mm,
You
mm,
cannot get a permanent happiness. And
mm,
here we are talking in this to get the permanent happiness.
mm,
No? So that
right,
is why comfort and all those things, devotion,
mm,
detachment, they
mm,
are unsuccessful.
mm.
Mm.
Also, Bhaiya, the previous para, there is this line: all living beings of animal order,
Hmm.
evidence sensitivity.
Ah.
Mm.
What we can also infer from that is the
Mm.
categorization of human beings till now.
Hmm.
Since
Yeah.
they could identify themselves only with senses, and
Mm.
since when I think when humans came into existence,
Hmm.
they must have seen the suppose they just evidenced the padarth in the prana avastha, but they could see there were some sounds and something from animals. So uh, they had that conscious, which they couldn't identify, which was Gnan Sangyanshilta. So they just must have evidenced only sensitivity. So that's
Hmm.
how we got the categorization of animal conscious human, which
Mm.
is called the Pashu Manav. So I just wanted
Right.
to
Mm.
add to that.
Yes,
Great.
yes,
Yes. Brilliant.
yes,
Hmm. Okay. So we were here. I think we
yes.
read here.
All humans,
Ah.
all humans make efforts to achieve happiness, yet there is no evidence that these efforts have led anyone to lasting satisfaction and continuous happiness.
Hmm.
That
Yes.
is what we were talking, just
Discussed.
talking, that the
Yeah.
comfort, accumulation,
Hmm.
prayers, devotion, detachment, they are not able
Hmm.
to give you lasting or continuous happiness.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
is their drawback.
Hmm.
Suppose we bring a very beautiful car, we are
Hmm.
happy.
Hmm.
Next day we see that our neighborhood there is a much bigger and more
Yeah.
comfortable car, and
Right.
then our happiness may go, you know,
Ah.
and which is normally happening.
And
We
and
bring, yes, yes, Bhaiya.
And Bhaiya, this is very important a point because the number of atoms literally on this
Mm,
earth are limited. So that means the number of cars we can make is limited. Yet when there is a car which is a different, better build or better efficiency or whatever, we all want to feel that we should have that car. So technically
mm,
it will not be possible. The aspiration
mm,
is there in the human mind, and so
mm,
now the rat race, because I will have
mm,
to now work hard to be abundant
mm,
first, to like social vidhi say, exploitative nature. We will go
mm,
out and literally be hunting clients. We'll be hunting. We'll be expanding the business, whatever we are
mm,
doing for the sake of that better deal, for the better comfort, that we can
mm,
get from those objects. And at the end of the day, when we think about it, it is just the feeling in the mind. We have gathered
mm,
so many resources, put so many people at work, exploited them for their work and gain profit from them, all for the feeling in the mind only कि नहीं, I am feeling something good now, which is again still questionable because there is
mm,
always something more. And we are talking about the Jeevan. That's why it can never get the satisfaction that it is like the Jeevan is completely beyond the material, and
mm,
that's why they cannot be fulfilled by the material. So that's just I wanted to mention.
mm. Very good, Bhaiya.
Mm.
In my own pursuit of happiness, I have found it through understanding.
Mm.
Similarly, I believe that every person can achieve happiness through understanding. You see, what a
Mm.
beautiful thing it is that
Mm.
one can achieve the happiness through understanding only.
Ah.
No need of so many comforts and detachment or devotion.
Mm.
You can get it by understanding.
Mm.
In truth, all humans are united in the right and divided in the wrong.
Mm. Yeah.
Therefore, it was necessary. This is a very good line. All humans are united in the right and
Mm.
divided in the wrong. Like you normally say, दो
Mm.
और दो चार होते हैं,
हाँ.
हैं? Or
Right.
this is correct one.
हाँ.
And if somebody is saying other answers, then there will
Mm.
be so many wrong answers.
So many wrong answers, right?
Hmm.
Right. Mm.
Therefore, it was necessary to identify the entity that is equally present in every human and can be bearer and carrier of understanding. I
Mm.
realized the entity is Jeevan, living with resolution.
Mm.
So this is all what we require to be happy. A
Mm.
Jeevan living with resolution. ना?
Right. Right.
हम्म,
Great.
समाधान पूर्वक जीता हुआ जीवन.
Mm.
This also says, therefore, it was necessary to identify the entity that is equally present in every.
Mm.
Means, Babaji somewhere in his Abhas and Anuman did
mm,
feel
mm.
that he had an intuition that something was equal in every human being,
Yes, yes.
and
He
that's why he could.
I think he was already aware of it indirectly or directly, and he could not find the difference between the people. For example, in his words somewhere in the book, he says that people used to come in his house, and they were told to sit outside, or their bartan, जो utensils, they were given different utensils to eat or to drink. Basically, the people who were labor class or whatever it was at that time. So he saw that this is something. They look like us, they eat like us, they talk like us, then how comes they're given the different attitude? So in his mind there's not biasness is there. I will want to share a very good experiment. In this, there was a BBC survey done once, and there was a boy who was white, and there was another boy who was black, and they were playing, and then there was a teacher observing with another third boy now. Now the teacher and the boy were talking together, and then they were saying, who is playing better? So the boy said the person or the boy which the two boys who were playing on the field, was one of them was white and one of them was black. But the boy who was asked this question, he mentioned the words he used is that student or that friend of mine who is in the blue shirt. He didn't mention the color of the skin of the boys that were playing. He mentioned the shirt. So this means that basically, when a child is born, they are not having any sort of differential understanding between human beings. They are seeing the outer appearance as outer appearance only. So they will not point to the race exactly. But we are the ones who are instilling the same into the minds of the people, and to the extent that religion has become the biggest contributed to wars. So many wars have been fought because of religion since age old times. So this is one very interesting thing that when we are born with a clear conscience, and to us, we will point out even with the external feature, not to the inherent skin color or attitude or jativad or anything like that. So I just wanted to say that, yeah.
Wonderful, Bhaiya. Wonderful.
Mm.
Wonderful example you have given, that how the children,
Mm.
they are so careful what to speak and what not to
दे आर
speak.
प्योर भैया, दे आर प्योर, दे
They
आर
are
नॉट इवन
pure.
केयरफुल.
Yes.
उसको उसके
Yes,
मन में
yes.
आता ही नहीं कि वो काली चामड़ी वाला दैट ब्लैक बॉय, नो,
हाँ,
द वन इन द ब्लू शर्ट. तो
वो
दैट्स हाउ.
परंपरा से फिर सीख जाता है बाद में, लेटर हो.
हाँ हाँ, वही
है
वही.
ना?
हाँ.
Okay. So beautifully, this is a paragraph has the last line is fantastic. That I
हम्म.
realized that entity is Jeevan living with resolution.
हम्म.
You know, that how we can achieve the happiness. It
हम्म.
was necessary to identify the entity that is equally present in every.
Everyone,
Neelam
right.
Didi
हाँ.
has told very clearly, or brought
हम्म.
our attention to the word equally present.
हम्म.
Okay. When Jeevan lives with understanding, it
हम्म.
presents resolution everywhere.
हम्म.
Every person is happy with resolution and unhappy with problems. Yes,
हम्म. हम्म.
समस्या मतलब दुख,
हाँ.
और resolution समाधान मतलब सुख.
राइट.
So the one person who the Jeevan lives with understanding and present resolution everywhere.
हम्म.
So this is again beautiful, that a person living with resolution spreads
हम्म.
it, that kind of
हाँ.
happiness.
हाँ.
The
राइट.
entity that understands is Jeevan, which drives the human body.
हम्म.
So this
हम्म.
Jeevan is central and human body is the instrument.
हम्म. हम्म.
Whatever we have taught animals is within the realm of sensitivity.
हम्म.
जितने भी जानवरों को भी हम पढ़ाते हैं या सिखाते हैं, वो
हम्म.
सेंसिटिविटी ही ज्यादा सिखाते हैं. But how does one human make another understand? No
हम्म.
one has ever been able to force understanding upon another.
हम्म.
Understanding cannot be forced.
हम्म.
A person may remain restrained by the fear of livelihood for some time, but
हम्म.
eventually they shed that fear.
हम्म.
The
हाँ.
end of slavery in history exemplifies this, है ना?
हम्म.
पहले वो जो slavery पे what was happening,
हम्म.
they were dependent upon food or whatever
हम्म.
they are getting, but one day they they forget the food. They said
Mm.
we have to come out of the
Mm.
slavery.
Uh,
So that is
and
a very good example. Yes, Bhaiya.
And I think it happened in both ways. Both the slave masters also thought that this thing we are doing is wrong. That's how they let go of the slave also, and they indoctrined this. I think Abraham Lincoln was the one who freed the slaves and wrote the American Constitution or something like that, where all men are treated equal. So this was there in leaders also, like Abraham Lincoln was the forefront at bringing slavery to an end. So the leaders had it also, and the slaves also were tired of that mentality. Maybe they were not working according to their standards or needs. And so again we are saying that even if we try to get the comfort, we will obviously be guided somehow or the other. Inside us we will say कि इसमें कमी है, कुछ कमी है, there is some lacking. And that is the actually the emptiness that is felt in the Jeevan itself, to understand more, to understand deeper. And that's how we are at this stage right now, that we are actually reading this book and trying to understand this in detail.
But yeah,
Mm.
one more line that has to be, no one has ever been able to force understanding upon others.
Hmm.
Actually, misconception when we do a Jivan Vidya is because
Hmm.
we operate with our samasyas and
Hmm.
our finding resolutions.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we think कि एक बार कुछ सीख लिया तो हम उसको वो समझ जाए,
हाँ,
दूसरा समझ जाए, you know.
हाँ, हाँ.
So the thing is, humans का it is a beauty that no one has ever been able to force understanding upon others.
Hmm.
मतलब वही है स्वतंत्रता. I think
Hmm.
that's what
हाँ.
is.
Mm. Oh,
Hmm.
Shreyanshi must have got some answers today if she is listening.
Hmm.
And if you have understood things, it not necessary that everyone has understood things,
Hmm.
and you cannot force understanding on others. So
Hmm.
it comes slowly,
Hmm.
slowly, and when somebody decides that I have to understand things, then
Hmm.
it happens automatically. Until then, you keep
Hmm.
on trying, you keep on trying. It sometimes is not happening.
Hmm. Hmm.
Bhaiya, the previous paragraph, the previous page, I am
Hmm.
just pondering through that line. It
Hmm.
says, I realize,
हाँ.
therefore, it was necessary to identify the entity that is equally present in
Hmm.
every human
Hmm.
and can be the barrier and carrier of understanding.
Understanding.
I
हाँ.
realize that
हाँ.
entity is Jeevan living with
Sorry.
resolution. Matlab, he is not
हाँ.
saying just Jeevan.
हाँ.
Hmm.
He's
हाँ. हाँ. हाँ.
saying, I realize that entity is Jeevan living with, मतलब समाधान है,
Hmm.
मतलब Jeevan has resolution already. It
Hmm.
is just for
Hmm.
us to identify that. I think that's
Hmm.
what it means. I'm still not
E-
clear with this
I
line.
think
No,
Didi I
no, no.
can. हाँ
Yes,
भैया.
yes, Bhaiya. First you speak.
I think what he's meaning here is that since he has I'm clicking two things, but since he has said that there are so many earths out there, and since the many earths are living in resolution, when he says this is actually meaning that I realize that entity is Jeevan living with resolution, because he must have seen that there are other beings or other earths that are living in resolution, and hence this can also happen here. Can it be said that way? Because
Bhaiya,
otherwise, what is
Bhaiya.
the evidence of that? You know?
Bhaiya, what I understand, and I
Mm.
was reading one question answer session in Samvad today. So what
Mm.
I get is this has it is the bearer and carrier of understanding Jivan, but the
Mm.
problem is it
Mm.
has kalpana shilta and
Huh.
karm svatantrata.
Right.
In this kalpana shilta, what can
Mm.
happen is that the person can go to three stages. He can
Mm.
go to wrong, the दुरुपयोग कर सकता है, उपयोग कर सकता है और सदुपयोग कर सकता है. All
Mm.
three possibilities are there. So
Mm.
depending upon those possibilities,
Mm.
you may not see happiness in human being, in spite
Mm.
of the fact that he or she can achieve happiness. But the
Mm.
problem is that he has not understood the things. Once he will have the understanding that
Mm.
he has to work on his understanding and kalpana shilta, and he has to work according to buddhi and atma, then our justice, when he
Mm.
will be working according to justice, then
Mm.
it will happen that he or she will be able to achieve happiness. Until then, because of the kalpana shilta, because of these things, he is not able to do that. Yes.
Mm. Yes, I would also like to add one more thing that when a जीवन is not resolved, basically उसकी जो जीवन की क्रियाएं हैं वो they are I if I'm is it using the right words, they are inactive. जो
हम्म
I think the how many क्रियाज are there भाई, 10 क्रिया ऐसा
टेन
कुछ है।
टेन हाँ, कल हमने डिस्कस किया था ना भैया, when
हाँ
नीलम दीदी internet connection was not good.
हाँ।
I have tried to explain those things. There are
हम्म
10 kriyas, 10
हम्म
activities,
हम्म
and basically because of tulan that we are doing on priya hit labh, that is
हम्म
why
हम्म
we are not able to achieve that kind of happiness.
हम्म
So that is the major difference. Once it will be on the basis of justice, dharma,
हम्म
and
हम्म
truth,
हम्म
then automatically we will be able to achieve
हम्म
happiness.
हम्म। And also I wanted to add that since Babaji himself had found resolution, he might be
Hmm.
referring to himself. I realize that entity is Jeevan living with resolution. Matlab, he might be indicating that he found the resolution, and
Hmm.
if it is done within him, he keeps on saying this.
Hmm.
If I can
Hmm.
achieve it, then everybody else can. Everybody can understand everything about
Hmm.
everything. So he's again trying to say that look, I am a human being like a normal person.
Hmm.
Uh, in fact, there is an event with where Babaji was talking with Gudda Bhaiya, as
Hmm.
his nickname goes, and Babaji asked him once कि आपको क्या लगता है मैं कोई असमान मानव हूँ, how what do you think of me, do I look like an extraordinary person? Then
Hmm.
Gudda Bhaiya said, no Bhaiya, you are a normal person. And then
Hmm.
Babaji congratulated him. Yes, you are right. I am a normal person who has found resolution. So
Hmm.
that's what is I was just linking the two things, that he is
Hmm.
not extraordinary. He has just
Hmm.
found resolution within himself, and that's why
Hmm.
he's saying that I realize the entity is Jivan, which is within himself also living with resolution. Meaning he is multiplying what he has experienced towards everybody else. That's what I'm
Hmm.
understanding. And hence the दसों क्रिया से कोई भी आदमी काम करेगा या रेजोल्यूशन में रहेगा, if all the
Hmm.
now the English word of दस क्रिया will be,
Activities, 10 activities.
हाँ, 10 activities within the जीवन are
Hmm.
fundamentally in flow, is that the right word?
Hmm.
वो
Yes,
सही
yes,
से काम कर
yes.
रहे, then you will be
Hmm.
resolved. So that's
Hmm.
I think that's Neelam Bhabi, if you can get some clarity from that also.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, all clear. Thank you.
Hmm. Yes.
So, Bhaiya, we can stop it here because it
Oh
is
yes,
only
हाँ,
2 minutes
time.
remaining.
Yes, yes,
We had a
we
good
are
discussion today.
we are also in flow here. Yes, yes, भैया.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, बढ़िया. So we'll just continue from tomorrow. The entity that
Hmm.
understands Jivan will continue from 38th page. Yes, great.
Hmm.
So let's end the session here.
Hmm.
Everybody have a good night. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Okay. Good night. Thank you.
Thank
Namaste.
you.